All right, today we are jumping into a system that is totally changing the game for modern warfare. And no, it's not a new jet or some fancy tank. We're talking about an AI, a digital brain, really, designed to give the Pentagon an algorithmic edge on the battlefield. And look, this is not science fiction. This isn't some far-off future we're talking about. This quote, it's about right here, right now. The revolution in military AI has already started. And you know what? There's just no turning back.
So, what is it? The system is called Project Maven. And this is not some theoretical thing sitting in a lab. It is a fully operational program that's been put to work supporting U.S. and allied operations in some of the most intense conflict zones in the world, like Ukraine and the Middle East.
So you have to ask, why was Maven even created in the first place? Well, to really get the solution, you first have to understand the enormous problem the U.S. military was staring down. You see, for decades, the Department of Defense, the DoD, basically operated like, and this is a quote from a general, an industrial-age hardware company. I mean, they were incredible at building massive machines, aircraft carriers, stealth fighters, you name it. But while all that was happening, the world changed. The software revolution just exploded out of Silicon Valley. And the DoD kind of got left behind, becoming this hardware giant in a brand new digital age.
And this led to a breaking point. All that new hardware, especially the huge fleets of surveillance drones, was creating a literal tsunami of video data. We're talking hundreds of thousands of hours of footage. The problem, as the guy who first ran Maven, Lieutenant General Jack Shanahan, put it, was that they had literally run out of humans to watch it all. So you've got analysts just drowning in data, with the terrifying possibility that they're missing critical threats. The Pentagon needed a totally new way of thinking. They had to fight data with data. And this is where the idea of algorithmic warfare comes in. Now, the goal wasn't to replace humans, not at all. It was to empower them, to create a kind of partnership, a symbiosis, where computers do what they're amazing at, crunching insane amounts of data at super high speeds, so that humans can do what they do best, make those crucial life-or-death judgments. So what does this actually look like for an analyst sitting at their screen? Okay, so first, Maven's algorithms start scanning real-time drone video feeds. Then, the system automatically detects and classifies things it thinks are important. Maybe a truck or a specific building. These potential threats get highlighted for the analyst. But, and this is the most important part, the final step is always, always human. Maven serves up the info, but a person makes the final call. Now, here's the thing that's truly wild. The speed. Maven was basically run like a tech startup that was somehow buried inside the massive bureaucracy of the Pentagon. It went from just a memo on a desk to deploying its first AI models into an active combat zone in only 8 months. For the DoD, that's moving at the speed of light. It was a huge signal that the culture was starting to change.
But connecting the military with Silicon Valley, well, it wasn't just a technical problem. It actually lit the fuse on a massive ethical firestorm inside one of the biggest tech companies on the planet.
Back in 2018, the Pentagon partnered with Google on the project. But when the employees found out their AI tech was being used for military purposes, there was an absolute uproar. Thousands of them signed petitions, they protested, they argued that building war technology flew directly in the face of Google's famous unofficial motto, "Don't be evil." And the frustration was real. It was deep. I mean, for a lot of these employees, Google was a company that did good in the world. And this project felt like a total betrayal of that identity. The internal revolt just kept growing. People were resigning. And in the end, Google decided not to renew its contract with the Pentagon. This whole episode just thrust this really tough question into the spotlight, one we're still grappling with today. What is the role of big tech in national security? Is it immoral for a company to build technology that can be used in war? Or when you have major global competitors, is it immoral for them to refuse? It's a tough one. Now, that whole Google controversy was a huge wake-up call, for sure. But it didn't slow the Pentagon down one bit. Because Project Maven isn't just a tool. It's a critical piece of a much, much bigger strategic vision. And that vision has a name: decision dominance. It's a pretty simple idea, but incredibly powerful. In any conflict, the side that can sense what's happening, understand it, make a decision, and then act on it faster than their opponent, that's the side that wins. And AI is the key that unlocks that kind of speed. And the results on the ground, they're pretty dramatic. One senior targeting officer estimated that his small unit could process and approve maybe 30 targets an hour using the old school methods. With Maven helping out, that number jumped to 80. That is a massive, massive increase in speed.
That kind of success led to a big shift in strategy. See, back in 2018, the DoD was just focused on getting AI as fast as possible, but they learned a tough lesson. You can't just sprinkle some fancy algorithms on top of a messy system. So by 2023, the whole strategy had evolved. The new goal was decision advantage, built on something they call the AI hierarchy of needs. The big idea? You can't have powerful AI without a solid foundation of clean, organized, and accessible data. Data comes first.
So today, Project Maven is no longer an experiment. It's a permanent, fully operational program. It's managed by the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the NGA, which basically cements its role as a core part of modern U.S. military intelligence. It's here to stay.
Maven and systems like it deliver one huge, clear advantage: speed. But that very same speed, well, it creates a really profound and dangerous new paradox for the future of war.
You know, military strategists love to talk about the OODA loop. It stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. It's the basic cycle of how you make decisions in a conflict. Well, AI is accelerating every single part of that loop, shrinking it from what used to take hours or minutes all the way down to seconds, and maybe, eventually, milliseconds. But that incredible speed creates a really scary paradox. Strategists are now worried about something they call flash wars. These are rapid, unintended escalations that are driven by competing AI systems reacting to each other. Just imagine a tense situation where two autonomous systems start going back and forth at machine speed. A tiny incident could spiral into a massive conflict before any human leader even has time to figure out what's going on.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question for this new era of warfare. Official policy says that commanders have to exercise appropriate levels of human judgment. But let's be honest, what does appropriate even mean when decisions have to be made in milliseconds? What is the role of human wisdom, of human control, in a world where the machines might just be moving too fast for us to ever keep up?